Hey everybody, it's Joe with Joe Knows Cryptos here with a daily crypto video update. Um, so I'm going to start out with a question that I had posed to me, and I had covered this a bit in some of my previous videos, but there's someone out there who has a lot of XRP right now, and they have $4,000 to spend and want to know what cryptocurrency I like between Litecoin and Bitcoin. And this is not financial advice, this is just my opinion. So please feel free to do whatever you like with your money. But this is what I would do. And he also had a question that Charlie Lee made a statement probably about 5 or 6 months ago, and he said that everybody should own at least one Bitcoin before buying any altcoins, including Litecoin. Now, Charlie Lee had a very good reason for saying that, and it wasn't only because he believes in Bitcoin, because I know he believes in Litecoin, so he wasn't trying to slight Litecoin in any way. He understands, and many people don't understand this, and some people do, and I'm gonna, in this video, try to reinforce what he means by that statement. The whole cryptocurrency market revolves around Bitcoin. I don't care what you think. I don't care if you think XRP is king. I don't care if you think Monero or IOTA or Tron or whatever crypto you have that you love and you own and you think it's the one. It may very well be the one eventually, but right now Bitcoin is the cryptocurrency that everybody knows. I challenge you right now to take out your phones and text a family member or a friend that you haven't talked to about your cryptocurrency about, and ask them if they know what it is, and ask them not to Google it. Ask them if they know what Stellar is. Ask them if they know what Tron is and not a movie that was put out in the 80s. Ask them if they know what any of these cryptocurrencies are. I'll bet you 95% of them will have no idea. I'll bet you almost 100% will have no idea what you're talking about. They'll look at you if you talk to them face to face. I prefer you talk to them face to face so they don't have time to Google it and say, yeah, it's a cryptocurrency. Go up to a family, friend, or even a stranger and say, do you know what Stellar Lumens is? 99% of them are not going to have a clue what you're talking about. And then after they look at you funny, ask them if they know what Bitcoin is. And I bet you not even that many people know what Bitcoin is, but a heck of a lot more are going to know what Bitcoin is. I'd say at least 50% are going to know what Bitcoin is, and I'm going to say 25% know what it is, and I'm going to say 80% have heard of it, maybe even 85. That right there just goes to show that Bitcoin has the name recognition. Whether you like Bitcoin or not, it's the one that everybody else knows. When you talk about cryptocurrencies, it's the only one with real name recognition. Now, because there are only 21 million Bitcoin, and in America alone, there are over 320 million people. That means if everyone in America bought, tried to buy a Bitcoin, they couldn't. If they tried to buy a half of a Bitcoin, they couldn't. If they tried to buy a quarter of a Bitcoin, they couldn't. If they tried to buy a tenth of a Bitcoin, they couldn't. That just goes to show how scarce Bitcoin is. And if everybody, what Charlie Lee is trying to say, if everybody would just go and buy Bitcoin, it would drive Bitcoin's price up to $1 million. And you know how much talk there would be on MSNBC and Bloomberg and all the everywhere. You'd hear about Bitcoin everywhere. People would be walking down the street. Hey, do you own any Bitcoin? Did you hear what Bitcoin's price is? It would be the hottest news, because it would be like the back when the gold rush happened. The San Francisco 49ers, they got their name from the miners, the 49ers, that went to California in search of gold. It was a gold rush, they called it. I mean, people went there in droves trying to find their riches. And it would be the same thing with Bitcoin. Maybe in 10 years we'll have a football team called the Bitcoins. But that is the fact. And he's trying to help all of cryptocurrency. He's trying to promote all of cryptocurrency by getting people to buy Bitcoin, because he knows once Bitcoin goes, then Stellar's going to go, and then Tron is going to go, and then Ripple's going to go, and Litecoin, and all the other ones are going to go. But Bitcoin, you know, you're not going to be able to talk strangers into buying a Stellar or Tron. But Bitcoin, saying, hey, you know, people are saying Bitcoin could be $1 million one day. Why don't you throw $100 in there and see what happens? You know what I mean? I mean, that's a possible thing. And if everybody threw $100 in there, it would be over $1 million. And that helps everybody. So that was what Charlie Lee was trying to say by you should own one Bitcoin. And you know, Bitcoin will be invaluable. If you own a little bit of Bitcoin now, and you know, say you own a Bitcoin now, and you you have it for $3,000, and you sell it for $6,000, you're happy because you doubled your money, but you don't know what you have. You don't know what you have. You got your ticket to freedom, financial freedom. That Bitcoin is, forget $1 million, that Bitcoin is going to be worth 10 million, maybe 100 million. I just went over examples, and that's just America on how little there is and how many people there are. You know, you got all Japan, India, China, the whole world to buy Bitcoin. It's not just an American currency, it's a worldwide currency. So, you know, with that being said, you know, it's a lottery ticket. You've got a winning lottery ticket in your hand if you've got a Bitcoin, and you don't know it. And what the globalists and the bankers and the rich people are trying to do right now is just keep the price down. And what they do, they buy it off on the over-the-counter market. So they go to miners. You know, they know who's mining Bitcoin. People talk about it. People brag about it. They know the electricity outputs from places, and they know who's mining. They know who's mining Bitcoin. And what they do is they go up to these miners and they say, look, I know Bitcoin's having a real rough time right now, and yeah, I know you're not making that much money mining it, so you know it's worth, let's just say $3,500 right now. I'll tell you what I'll do, because I believe in Bitcoin. I'll buy all of your Bitcoin for the next year, and I'll double the price, whatever you get for it. Or I'll buy your Bitcoin right now. Instead of giving you 35, I'll give you $7 grand for it. And whenever you have some more that you're buying, that you have ready to sell, give me a call and I'll make you another great deal. Because they don't care. They don't care what price they get it at. They don't care if they get it at 6,000, 100,000, 200,000, because they know what it's going to be worth. They want to own the majority of Bitcoin. They want people like us to see it double in price and sell it so they can come in and buy it. You know what I mean? It's like they're greedy. And our greed is the thing that keeps us down. Because if we all bought some Bitcoin, say we all bought some Bitcoin and it went up to 20,000, more than half of us would sell it because we made profit. And then if we didn't sell it, then the people, the elites, would go ahead and dump a bunch of it on the market, not the over-the-counter, but on the retail market, to drive the price down, to get people to panic sell, thinking it's going to crash again, just so they can buy ours and the stuff that they already sold back. That's how it works. Everybody would just buy it and hold it, and just put it in a wallet and forget about it. For 2 years, you're going to be extremely happy. But the thing is, people are greedy. People are afraid that they're going to lose what they made. You know, we could beat these people. You ever see that movie Ants, where the grasshoppers are talking because they control the ants, and the ants get all the food and gather it up for the grasshoppers, because their grasshoppers are bigger and stronger, even though there's only a few of them and there's millions of ants. And one of the ants talks back to the leader one day, and he comes up and he, you know, smashes them around and beats them up. And you know, then later in the bar, one of the other grasshoppers is talking to the leader and said, hey, you know, why do you have to, you know, do that to that one little ant? He's just one puny little ant. Who cares what he says and what he thinks? And then the leader, he's the smart one, he says, well, if I let that one little ant get away with that, then what happens if more join them? What happens if they all join them? Then we'll be finished. And that's exactly my opinion of Bitcoin. If we would all just buy a little bit of Bitcoin and hold it and not sell it no matter what, even if it goes down to 1,000, or even if it goes up to 30 and starts dropping rapidly, don't sell it. Just hold it, because it's going to be worth 100 million. And this is my opinion. Okay, now, as far as what I think you should do with your $4,000, I personally believe that Litecoin and Bitcoin run in tandem. They're partners. They're like Bonnie and Clyde. You can't separate them. Even though they are two separate things, they're meant to help each other out. If Charlie Lee knows anything, he's a whiz. He can almost predict the future, and he sees where things are going. He knows that Bitcoin is going to be so valuable that nobody's going to want to sell it. There's going to come a point where the elite and retail people like you and me are not going to want to sell Bitcoin. We're just going to hold it because it's going to be so valuable. We're going to be able to buy, a mansion with a sliver, the smallest fraction of a Bitcoin. So at that point, nobody's going to want to sell their Bitcoin unless it's really, their dream come true, or they're ready to retire, or they want to leave, for some fantastic reason. Their next option is going to be Litecoin. And, people will, in the beginning, since there's more Litecoin, over 80 million, they will use that more as a currency. There will also come a time when people will hold on to their Litecoin and they won't sell that either. And then a third cryptocurrency will step up and take the place as a daily transactional type of currency. How long that takes, I don't know. It just depends on how fast people start buying and holding their Bitcoin, and then buying and holding their Litecoin. The next one will have a higher number of coins. Maybe instead of 80 million, maybe a couple billion. And it all depends on population and money and wealth and distribution and all that. But this is just the trend. This is what's going to happen. So if I were you, I would maybe put 300, buy 1/10 of a Bitcoin. Do your part to help out the community and to help out cryptocurrencies. All right, buy 1/10 of a Bitcoin, whatever price that may be. If it's $350, it's $350. It's not much to take out of your $4,000. And I would take the rest. And I know they always say to diversify, but you know what? They say over 90% of these altcoins are crap anyway, and they really don't have a purpose. They really aren't even needed for blockchain technology. They could just be kept on a regular spreadsheet. That it's not necessarily necessary to even have a blockchain for them, because the whole purpose of the blockchain is security and proof of transactions. And the main reason for that is going to be money. If you have money and you give it to somebody, you want proof that they received it and proof that you have it. But you don't need that for a game or something that only costs $1 or $2 to buy and sell. If you lose $1 or $2 to a customer, it's not the end of the world. It happens all the time. And we don't really need blockchain for that, to be honest. At least at this point, eventually it may come to that where everything's on blockchain. But for currency, it's one of the greatest things, and as a store of value. Because fiat does still work to buy and sell things, but as a store of value, I believe that pension funds are going to start getting into cryptocurrencies, simply because, if you look at the pension funds in a lot of these states, they're about bankrupt. So imagine if you worked 40 years for a company and you retired and it was time to start collecting your pension. They said, sorry, we're bankrupt. We don't have your money. You know how awful that is? Pension funds know that since Bitcoin and Litecoin are scarce commodities, that they're going to go up in value. And as they go in, it's going to help drive up the price of them. Guys, I'm getting there 15 minutes here. But yeah, I would take the rest and put it in Litecoin, simply because it's going to have the halvening well before Bitcoin's going to have their halvening. So Litecoin's halvening August 2019. I buy my Litecoin now. It's going to go up in price because of the halvening, in my opinion. And then it's going to jump around when it gets closer to the halvening, because there will be profit takers. And then after the halvening, maybe a few months after, or whenever you feel satisfied, then go ahead, take half that money, and I put it into Bitcoin. And I'm signing off. Kiss your wife and your girlfriend, hug your kids, pet your pets. Joe knows cryptos. God bless. Bye-bye.